And where's the button? Down there. Now I unable to live stream. Oh, I left it too long. Let's see if I can just get that back up into Australia. I might just admit Peter, and if you want to just mention to Peter, we're just getting set up.
Hi Peter, good to see you here. We're just getting ourselves set up here, so I'll be with you in a moment.
Okay, welcome to this live streaming and a Zoom meeting. So join us there should be a link below to join this meeting if you'd like to join in, or just in the comments of the Facebook Live. Feel free to make some comments there. So we are in part 3 of our 3 series, which is Grow, Profit, Exit. So today we're going to talk about exiting your business and what that can look like, and just talk all things around, you know, that the exit part of your journey in your bookkeeping business. So joined with Deb as usual. Hi Deb, how are you today?
I'm very well. Good to be here.
Awesome. I'm just going to allow people to jump in. So, hi Nicole.
Good to see you.
Yeah. So Nicole and Peter, you might like to share your screens if you'd like, or share your cameras. You're most welcome to put your videos up so that we can have a chat as well, and you can become interactive with this conversation. Paul, who's our team member at Pure Bookkeeping, good to see you. And okay, awesome. So today, when we're talking about the exit strategy of our business, we're going to be talking about what it looks like for you. So, you know, one of the points that we wanted to make today was around knowing your end game as soon as possible, like understanding where you're wanting to go. So I get it that a lot of bookkeepers don't say that, you know, they've gone into business or are doing this journey because they want to sell. But if you have an idea of, you know, building your business to a point where that you have choices at the end of the day, whether you want to continue running the business, have it as passive income, or selling it. So, you know, just having that understanding that it will go somewhere, it won't just disappear. So where is that going to go? You might want to consider how many more years it is before you do, you know, perhaps want to get out or retire or move on to another, you know, business opportunity. So what does it look like for you? So Deb, you've got some comments around what, you know, what we're heading towards, what our end game is.
Absolutely. And when we've run seminars in the past with Peter Cook, he often said during the seminars, or made the comment, that we are all going to exit our businesses at some point. So best that we plan the exit, because if you don't have a planned exit, the alternative to that is that your circumstances change for some reason and the choice is taken away from you. So why not, if you can plan it, and whatever stage of business, this is appropriate for whatever stage of business you're at. If you're 25 and starting out, this is just as important to you as someone who is more mature and thinking of their retirement strategy. It's applicable to everyone. And the reason it's so important is that not only having your end game in mind gives you a focus of where it is that you want to go, where you want to be in 5, 10, 15, 20 years time even. We've spoken before about once you know where you're heading, you can then create the map of how you're going to get there. That is one reason for having your end game planned. But the other reason, and I came across this problem, the issue I had was that I didn't have an end game in mind when I started my bookkeeping business. This is before I met Peter Cook. And what I did was I started off and I started to say to clients, great, I'm Debbie. They contacted me, word of mouth referrals. I'd meet up with them and they'd say, right, when can you start? And I go, okay, well, let me get this and we'll work it out. And there was no conversation about my growth, about the possibility of me putting another bookkeeper on in the future, because I actually didn't have those plans. And so I said, yes, I'll start on Monday for you. This is how we're going to get organised. Then about 18 months later, when my books were filled up and I couldn't take on any more clients, I started working with Peter Cook and realised I needed to put on bookkeepers. So all the dozens of clients that I'd put on in that time, who the expectation I set for them was that I'm going to look after you. And I realised that I needed to go back to these people and actually say, actually, it's not going to be me. Let me tell you how my business is growing and I'm going to be putting on staff and they'll start to look after you. And that was that actually took me another 12 months to extricate myself away from clients, even to have that conversation with them at the start. It was really very difficult. It was emotionally difficult. That was the biggest hurdle for me. I procrastinated about it because I thought, oh no, they're not going to be happy, that they only want me. What am I going to do? How am I going to get myself out of this? And some of the conversations were quite difficult. And to explain why, you've got to appreciate where they are coming from. So each one of those clients that I put on were what I call a rescue job. So they were in a mess. A previous bookkeeper someone had messed up their bookkeeping for them. They were afraid of the ATO ringing them. They didn't know how much tax they owed. They were completely in the dark about their finances. Then I came along, rescued them from that and tidied them up and got them sorted. And then I was doing the maintenance bookkeeping after that. The fear that they had, which was very real, and really it was only 12 or 18 months ago or 2 years ago that they were feeling this way, was that, hang on a minute, you're going to put another bookkeeper, but I only trust you. You're the one that fixed up all the mess left behind. What if the bookkeeper you put in place leaves a mess behind? So there was this real feeling, real fear they had that they were going to end up in a mess again. But when I realized that that was their fear, well, the conversation then was acknowledging that and saying, because of the systems I'm going to put in place, I will be able to guarantee the quality of the work. And at the end of the day, the buck stops with me. If the bookkeeper makes a mistake, I will be the one fixing it up. If I have to replace that bookkeeper, you don't need to worry about it. But it just gives you an idea of, if I had the end game in mind, and every new client that I put on, I said, great, yes, I can start with you on Monday. What I'm going to do is get you all up to date and get you rescued, if that was required. And then I'm going to put Mary or Joe or one of my other team in place, or at some stage down the track, even if I didn't have a Mary or a Joe at the time, I started to have the conversation with all new clients that sometime in the future, I am going to replace myself. So you already set the expectation. Even if you don't know when that's going to happen, and you're not even sure if it is going to happen, if you make that decision that you are going to grow your business to scale and to exit, and you set up that conversation right from the start, when it does come to that time, or if it does come to that time where you do decide you're going to put on staff, you've already set the expectation.
Yeah, that's a great example. Thanks, Deb. And we're sort of reiterating that it's that thing that we talked about in the book club the other day about you putting the ladder on the wall. Like, which wall are you climbing your ladder towards, or up to? So if you had the pre-thought now of where where that wall is, where that ladder needs to be climbing up to, and rather than just plodding along, getting clients and doing the work and being the technician and moving along your journey, building the business, increasing your value and your turnover and your busyness, to what end? Like, where is the point of that? Where is it going? It's awesome with the growth and the learning and all of that that's happening, but in 5 years' time, is this what you still want to be doing? Is just accumulating clients, get busier, getting more overwhelmed, putting some efficiencies in as you're learning and doing professional development, but where are you wanting it to lead to? So that was the first major point that we wanted to bring up today. Secondly, what does it look like at the end of sale? Do you have an idea of that it's a $500,000 business, or it does have staff, or it's just a terribly automated, business that can be, sold at the end of the day, or maybe you're wanting it to pass down to your staff or your family members that are working within the business. So, what is, that further thought of what can it look like at the end of the day. Nicole, did you want to make any comments at all? You want to join in on this conversation? And Helen, if you've got your video turned off, you can join in as well. Great to see you.
Today.
Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
Yeah, good. Thank
Well.
you. So, Nicole, did you want to make some comments around?
Sure. Look, I think obviously I speak with people all the time, and I think that a lot of people have the idea that they want to progress to get their business. They want to exit their business and sell their business at the end of the business or their business sort of life cycle. And I think it's really important to understand that a business is only worth what someone can come in and run it how you ran it and get the same income and revenue from it. And I think what a lot of people don't realize is that if the business is all in their head, that business is actually not worth anything to anyone, because you are the business. Without you, there is no business. And I think what people find challenging is getting out of that sort of rush of them actually being the business. And in some sense, you have to give up control a little bit. You have to hand your business and train staff and put process and procedure in place. But that is the only way that you can actually have an intrinsic value of your business, or a goodwill value for your business, that someone can actually come in and say, you know what, if you step back from this business, I could keep running it and get the same revenue, same income, keep all the same clients, and service them at the level that you're servicing them at. If someone can't step into your business and do that, then the business is actually not worth anything. I know that's a bit harsh, but it really is, that's where it comes down to. So I suppose my advice is, you shouldn't be the business. The business should run on its own, and you shouldn't be the business. So then if you step out of the business can keep running.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And that's exactly, in building the foundations and systems, so that, there's a lot of automations and efficiencies, and you're putting staff on to actually do the work, if that's the journey that you want to go on. So that the business is not dependent on you. You will get a lower value for being just a one-man band, if you like, because the clients have that relationship with you. So the ability to move those clients and that relationship fully onto another person that's buying in is a little bit more difficult to do and to manage and to realise the price at the end, because usually at a sale they will put on a retainer. So for every client that is lost, they do not pay for. So And I know for myself, when I sold my business, the staff had the relationship with the clients. So although I was there as supervisor and still had conversations with clients, so they knew me and trusted me, but day-to-day work was done by the staff. So anybody could walk into a business with the staff working closely with the clients, and the client work would continue to be done, even though the person overseeing or supervising or leading the business into the future was a different person.
Yes,
Helen?
and I think I was going to add to that when you're preparing your business for sale, and I think we're going to be talking about this a little bit more, but there's 3 considerations really when someone is looking at buying your business. One is profitability. So is it profitable now? And they then will forecast, they'll look back at the last few years and see how the profitability was. And then they'll look at the future as well and extrapolate that out. But also what systems you've got in place, because they know that they can't have it, that it's all in your head. That's not, as Nicole said, you walk away with the knowledge and the business goes with you, even if you've got staff, but also how independent the business is from you. So as Katrina said, if you're on your own and you've got all the systems in your head and the clients love you and they're dependent on you and the whole business is about you, and Nicole mentioned this as well, it actually, for me to come in and buy your business, that means there's a far greater risk that the clients won't like me. Maybe I want to charge more as well. Maybe I'm not happy with what you're charging, so straight away I want to increase the rates that I'm charging them. They're not going to like that. They may not like me, they love you. So there's a far greater risk for the person that's buying it. Whereas if Katrina came in and bought my business, which was independent of me, I've got staff and all of those things and the systems in place, she'll just come back over to my business and manage it. I leave and she comes in and takes over my role, which was managing the business.
Yeah, and I'd like to ask the people that are watching today and watching, either live or the recording, that if they are thinking of selling their business or not, what stage of exit are they at? So put some comments in the Facebook posts there, so we can, make some comments and help you along the journey as well. Helen, have you thought about your exit strategy, or what are you up to with your exit?
I thought about it on day one. So it's always in the back of my mind.
Yeah, good.
Obviously, because we want that freedom also to, I think that's what we're working for. You want that job satisfaction, but the end goal is, what do I want to do in the next chapter kind of thing. And I've had a few chapters, so that's interesting. Yeah, I'm nowhere near that at the moment with bookkeeping. I think we're still doing the fine-tuning procedures and that kind of thing. But at the same time, a good place, I guess, that this month is reviewing client prices, which daunting but exciting. And I think daunting because I don't want to put prices up in a COVID pandemic, but at the same time, if clients turn and say, we can't afford that, I'll be happy. I'll be happy because they're the D clients. And there's a few that I think I can turn into C clients. So I think that's exciting too. So I'm not daunted by the fact that, okay, if I go ahead with this, which I've given people plenty of warning, but, I'm not concerned if they leave. We're at that stage where I'll be comfortable if they leave. I won't be concerned with it too much. So we have some new clients and exciting bigger corporate clients that are just sort of, filling the ideal client space that we're looking for. So, but exit strategy, no. I'm still working far too much in the business, and that's the plan to, work towards cutting back a day of, being on the books, so to speak, and just working, within the business of just, organising all my bits and pieces and everything. So, yeah, ideally I have the plan, but I know we're nowhere near that. I honestly believe we're about 2 years away from that, to be honest. So, so there's a plan for myself and a senior bookkeeper who's been with me for quite some time to cut her hours back, but, sort of have that flexibility where she can earn just as much and not have the, she can oversee everyone, from her base and not have to do all the running around and physically sit down with clients and do the data entry. So sort of exciting for me, but also for her, and but nowhere near a complete exit strategy at the moment, but I've always got it in the back of my mind.
Yeah. Okay. So I was just going to ask Helen, and what stage of your business would you like to exit? Like, do you have a plan of as at an age, like at a certain age that you might like to exit, or a certain size? Is there? And I'd like to encourage people that are listening also to perhaps put in, when they think that they would like to exit at, the age of 65 or 85. I'm not sure we'd want to be working through to 85, but
I have 5 years is always in my head. So, I mean, even though I've been doing this for nearly 20 years, the bookkeeping, restructuring, from a sole proprietor to a company, and then having a huge growth in our first 12 months. I just keep thinking we're into 18 months now, and 5 years I would like to see. Yeah, I sort of feel that that's a good time, 5 years away. Still young enough to do other things. So I don't know. Yeah, I always have 5 years in mind. So I don't think I'd like to be running the business in 10 years' time. I mean, if I have a business where I've, have handed it over to someone else and I have a little bit of input, maybe some consulting or something like that, but I wouldn't like to be behind the business in 5 years' time. So
yeah, and I think that's a big. You just touched on that there. That when we talk about exiting your business, it doesn't mean that you have to sell it. We're not saying to grow it to sell. We're saying to grow it to a point, grow a business that you love, with clients who appreciate you and value what you're doing and pay you appropriately, and you put all the systems in place, and you get to a point in your life, or the stage or the chapter or wherever, where you have choices. So it's actually more about choices than a hard sell. We don't want you to think that that's what we're saying, that everyone needs to grow a multi-six-figure dollar business and then sell it at the end and sit on a beach or something like that. I was speaking to a licensee just earlier today who was saying that she really wants to grow a business where because of the systems and because of the staff that she's put in place, she has the lifestyle choices, so they can travel. And it's not, but again, it's not dependent on her. That is the critical thing, that it's not dependent on her to continue to run. In the latter part of my growing my business, and around about the time that we started Pure Bookkeeping in 2010, I was only working in my business a day or two a week, and I had an operations manager who was actually doing the day-to-day running of that. It's just another way that you can do it. Then you can pick the tasks or the kind of work that you love to do. You might love doing rescue jobs. You might love doing consulting work, or even focusing on the recruiting and training your new staff people, or doing your marketing. So it's all about giving you choices. So don't think this isn't suitable for you. This conversation is important for everyone.
And I just also want to make the point that, and I think this is my financial advisory background coming through, that even though you're not preparing to exit, your business should always be in a state that if you are not there to run it, that it actually can keep running itself. And I think, like, as a financial advisor, I used to hear a lot of stories where, you know, the main income earner had a business and didn't have an exit strategy, and, you know, something happened to them. They were the main income earner, and suddenly their main business or the main income from their family asset has now disappeared, and no one else can step into it. And I think I live my life that tomorrow I might get hit by the proverbial bus. And set up everything in my life, and I think that business people should, you know, a lot of people don't have that strategy in place, that if something was to happen to you and you're the business, how's your partner going to survive financially? How are your children going to survive financially? Whereas if you've got a business that's got proper processes and procedures in place, you know, your partner could just hire, like you said, an operations manager to come in and run the business. So you're still getting that income is still coming to you. So whether or not you're thinking about exiting your business, there should be some strategy in place in case that choice is taken out of your hands. And like you said, Debbie, it gives you more choices. It may be that you get ill and you need to step back, or you need to add support to someone else in your family so you can't spend the time in your business, and you don't want all your years of hard work to then go down because you're not in the business.
And that is so common, that the number of people, bookkeepers I've spoken to, that have said that because the choice was taken away from them because of ill health, whether it was theirs or their spouse, they've said, I'm downsizing, I've given away my clients because there were no systems in place. It was all dependent on them. I've given away these clients. I'm just going to hang on to these two because I think I can manage these two. There's such a wasted opportunity, whether it be an ongoing income that that if you choose to stay in the business and you can at least have that ongoing income, or whether you choose to sell it. It's such a wasted opportunity. And it's also a change of mindset. If you start your business, that it's a bit like Michael Gerber talking about a technician. You've bought yourself a job. You have no end game in mind. You're just putting clients on one after the other, and you earn a certain amount of income. And then basically, though, you've bought yourself a job. You're not thinking, what is the potential of this? What is the big picture? Where is the leader in your business? And to be thinking differently. And which is what a lot of bookkeepers kind of fall into bookkeeping. And I'm the same, because it fits around family and it's great for that, and you just do it part-time, and it kind of just grows by default and without any real decision making around that. Whereas, and then you've basically bought yourself a job. But if you make a conscious decision that I'm going to grow a business that I love, that I'm respected and rewarded by my clients, and I'm going to have it so it's independent of me, it's a whole new ball game.
Yeah, and certainly the independence is, one of the biggest valuable attributes of your bookkeeping business. And I would like to encourage, we're going to start talking about what other things of value that you can do within your business now to build up to a higher value for a sale or a better sale, or where you want to lead your business to go to. So we're going to start talking about different attributes of a business that is going to make it valuable. But what I would love for those that are on the call, and also for those that are listening and watching later, to pop into the comments about what things can you imagine are going to make a bigger difference to your business, that is going to provide better value at your exit strategy. So we'll talk our way through it, but pop those things in, and the first three that do make comments, or the best contributions, will get the successful bookkeeper book that we're going to send them, to ship them out. So pop in the comments, and whoever gets engaged on the call today will also get a book shipped out to them. So some of the things that I'm thinking of around the value is obviously the systems, having your systems in place and your foundations. And, as we talked about, becoming independent. But there are a lot of other things that we can build within our business. So it is things like, you know, the automations and the efficiency. So, you know, whatever software we're on, whatever takes us away from anybody having to do things manually or thinking through a process, automating everything that you do, systemize everything, move as much things away from yourself as, you know, over to somebody else to be doing it. Helen, have you thought about what, you know, what would add value to your business as well?
I have, and I think just touching on all of this, it just reminds me, it's like having a will in place. We do that for our personal things, and I guess that's another thing we're doing at the moment is I've always had access to client files, you know, the main files, and the girls would email things to me and everything else. So now we're moving everything, you know, on the cloud, and my senior has access to everything so that, you know, as you said, Nicole, that, you know, getting hit by a proverbial bus, because I think, gosh, you know, and it's even the client files. I had access to files that possibly she never worked on because I did ad hoc services, whichever. So I've gone through and added her, you know, to each file. And some clients have said, oh, I noticed you added such and such. Is there any reason? And I thought, well, yeah, if something happens to me and you need our support, this person can now assist you. You know, it's not just linked to my login and all, you know, I've got access and only I can see all these files or whichever. So we're in that process too, where we are moving everything so that, you know, and look, if they need something, they were calling me and saying, oh, can I have a copy of the such and such BAS to check from, you know, 3 quarters ago. So little phone calls that is just silly for me to retain all this paperwork and not have that shared. So, you know, that will cut down time that they can go looking for what they need, you know, and there's that security in place. Things can't be deleted. You know, they have access only to their clients, whichever kind of thing, apart from one who can see everything. So I just needed to involve someone else into more of the business operations so that if they can't get a hold of me for whatever reason, clients, they can go to her, or, you know, and planning that holiday, you know, where my last holiday overseas, I took the laptop, you know, and even though clients knew and didn't call, there was the occasional email. And yeah, it's great that you can log in from anywhere in the world and sit on the beach and do some work. But at the same time, it was nice that they contacted her, and I thought that was good too. So I think we fear the client not liking the change, but once we introduce it, the client seems fine with it. Like, I've never had anyone come back and say, oh, I don't like that, or I just want you. They understand. Like, I've had to go to clients in the past and say, I'm no longer doing data entry. You know, my work will be replaced by this person who's competent, and I will oversee things. And they're like, yeah, fine. And I've, you know, they've been fine with it. I think we worry more.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, or is it some sort of, we want to control all these clients and have them to ourselves? I don't know, but you don't lose the client by it. You know, and I find a lot of the clients who have their regular bookkeeper will still ring me and say, oh, you know, I know Sue's probably, you know, not out on site at the moment, but, you know, working on a client's file. So I thought I'd ring you and see if I can run something by you. So it's still nice that they involve you, and sometimes it's not even a bookkeeping issue. It's completely different, but they just want some advice. So
yeah, no, that's some really good points. Yeah, thank you for that. And I, for your fabulous contribution today, I'm going to send you one of the Successful Bookkeeper books as well. So we'll be in touch.
I don't mind, because you know what, you can send it to me. I will give it as a gift to someone else. Is that okay? Am I allowed to get re-gifted? Because I have it.
Definitely.
Like a Bible.
That's all good. Thank you. Thanks for your contribution.
Thank you anyway. That's lovely.
Good. So some of the other things that adds value to the business are actually the clients that you work with. So if you had some industries that were a little bit, you know, up and down, or not as strong. I know this is one thing that my business broker said, you know, how strong are your clients? Are they, you know, sticky with you? Firstly, are they, you know, a bit flighty? Are they strong? Do they have good profits? Are they managed well? You know, the relationship that you have with the client as well. So, you know, brokers or people that are buying your business will look internally at your clients and see how strong they are. Mm-hmm. And also, you know, the value of those clients. So if you have a business that has 50% of your clients are, you know, a couple of clients, then, you know, there's a risk factor there for a person buying your business. So looking at the ratio of your clients, you know, across the board, we want strength, we want a variety, we want to know that they are going to continue on to the next owner. So there's a few more things to look inside your business to make sure that that's going to successfully be taken over. Nicole, do you have some further comments around the attributes of a good, valuable business?
Look, I'm pretty, I think it really does come down to systems and training and just really the ability of someone to step in to that business. And, you know, and I think it's not even just with the bookkeeping side of the business, it's also with the marketing and with sales. If you're very active on social media and very active in the marketing space, and then someone comes in and buys your business who doesn't have that knowledge or experience, you will see a drop in the value of the business. So it really is setting up your business. So if you are standing back or you are not there, whether it's another staff member, whether it's someone who's buying the business, it's all areas of the business that have to have some sort of, so there's a fallback that everyone knows something about each part of the business. So one part, you know, the bookkeeping is strong, but then you don't want everything else around it to fall down as well.
Yeah, that's a really good point. So you need to have those systems in place for marketing, for referrals, because that's another strong area that a new business owner will want to know, that you've got a constant source of referrals. Are they just with one accountant? And then the current business owner has a really good relationship with that one accountant. So is that going to affect your value?
And also what you said earlier about, again, my financial planning background is coming through, but it's all about diversification as well. And I think that during these COVID times, we've actually seen a lot of people, bookkeepers, suffer who have the majority of their clients in the hospitality industry. So, you know, when an industry like that is really pretty much, you know, wiped out for the time being, you know, you need other clients and, other industries that's going to ride you through. And then, you know, if we see a decline in those other industries, then hopefully then your hospitality is going to ride you through those lean times. So it is a bit of a catch-22. I know a lot of bookkeepers like to keep to one industry because it's very similar in the way that they do their bookkeeping role. But I suppose my advice is, like any portfolio, diversify. And that can even be what we're talking about, where you diversify not only the industry that your clients are in, but the amount of work that they give you. And like you said, Katrina, if you've got 50% of your income coming, or 70% of your income coming from one client, that's really risky. If you happen to lose that client, or that client's business goes down, and you don't want your business to be reliant on one person or one accountant, or then you're losing complete control in your business.
It's a bit like putting all your eggs into one basket, which isn't a good idea. And I think I think a very practical a task that anyone that's watching or goes to later is to do a really practical analysis of all your clients. this is a good thing to do, whether you're planning your end game or even looking at your clients now. And I often talk to licensees about this. Sometimes I do it from the point of view of cutting out deadwood in your business, and I often refer to that as well. But you can only, and deadwood I mean by the people that are more trouble than they're worth. They keep you awake at night. They ring you at 6 o'clock on a Sunday evening or 7 a.m. on a Saturday morning, and all these sorts of things. They take you for granted. It's a good idea for anyone at any stage to do a complete analysis of your clients. And this is particularly important when you are preparing to exit, because when, as Katrina mentioned, when someone is actually buying your business, they want to know what they're actually buying. So they do want you, they won't ask you for your list of clients because that's privacy, but they will want to know how frequently you do the work for them. Is it on site or off site? Do you run a virtual business? What software are you using? What income do they bring in for you each month? And an annualized figure. The more detailed you can get in your analysis, the better it will be. It'll be useful for you now to actually make an assessment, because then when you get all this sorted, you have got it. The way I usually do is say to put it in Excel and have columns across the top of all these different things that make up your client base. And one of the columns I often recommend people do is a pain in the backside category as well. And you actually, that's rated out of 10. So you're putting all across here, on-site, off-site, what software, where are they, all sorts of things. And then you have pain in the backside column, and you go, that's a 10 out of 10. So he drops down, it doesn't matter what is going on across here, he or she dropped down to the bottom of that list. So you've sort your list according from, that's how you get your A, B, C, Z clients. And you can, it will help you then be really practical about how you're actually going to get rid of those Z clients. And then that gives you strategies to increase your marketing, to replace them. When are you going to replace them? There's a whole lot of really useful, practical ways you can analyze your business now that will be good for you now and have you grow a business that you love, but it'll also be great for sale, for exit.
Yeah, the great points. And that's the point of, I guess, today is just to make you realize, making your business stronger constantly. Like it isn't something that, okay, I'm going to sell and it's going to happen within 3 months. It's something that you need to plan for years in advance for that time, because it takes you a while to work through this process and make your business stronger, become independent, and work your way out of the job. So I think we would like to probably finish up today. We've got a couple of you've got your weekly support call to go to, and so it's been a really good conversation to go through this today. And I know Michael has mentioned on the Facebook post, whatever you can do or dream you can, begin it. Boldness has genius, power and magic in it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure whose quote that is, but Michael Palmer has popped that into our Facebook post, so that's awesome. So I'd like to thank you all for coming on today, and really appreciate your contribution, Helen. I'll send the book on to you, and anybody else that has made contributions into the Facebook group, I'll send the first 3 people that are adding contributions in the Successful Bookkeeper book to them. So we will be in touch. But thank you, Nicole, as well, for joining us today and adding your insights. It's been fabulous. Really appreciate it. And hope you all have a fabulous day and look forward to seeing you around the community.